All right. Welcome back. You're grilling with the BooMan. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. What do we have here? What's that? Is that a porterhouse? Look, what's that's a porterhouse. Look at those beauties. I measured them. They're about an inch and a half thick. So went online, looked at various times like you normally do, took the average. So I'm going to be cooking them 2.5 on one side, turn it on the same side, 2.5, flip it, 2.5, 2.5, and that should give us about a 140 in the middle for a medium rare. Our grill is ready at, we're up there high, so I'm sure our grill is going to be proper temperature. We're going to put the tips towards the front of this grill, like that's the front. And what that'll do for us is that's the cool area, so the tips are supposed to not dry out. So we're going to throw a smaller one in the center on this particular grill. That's the hot side for some odd reason, because that's the main burner. And the middle here is the cooler of the two sides. We're going to put it on a diagonal. We're going to cook them both the same direction. Porterhouse. Put that on a better angle. So we can get those crisscross patch. So we're going to do this for 2.5. Rotate them 2.5. Flip them 2.5, 2.5. Now you may have noticed I manhandled that meat, but around the corner from where I'm grilling, grill over there, around the corner, I have the spigot. And I wash my hands right after I manhandle the meat. Now what I like to do is I manhandle the meat, throw it on there, and then the meat is nice and hot enough. So when I go to flip it or turn it, I have my tongs and my flipper there, either or. Now the reason I'm telling you this is we had a cookout at work, and I was throwing the hamburgers on with my bare hand, and my boss was kind of looking at me cockeyed. But I would put the hamburgers on, then I washed my hands. Had time to go wash my hands before they needed flipping. Same concept here. It's just a tip for you if you have the same kind of setup. Again, this is usually, but these tips are mainly for college students and whatnot who don't have years of experience grilling. This makes life easier. Take your meat, throw it on there with your bare hands. First time go round, go wash your hands, and now your utensils, your meat's going to be cooked enough and the grease is going to be hot enough on your meat so that when you flip it, you're not going to have any live germs on your utensils when you go to flip it. Okay, tonight's grill is brought to you by my latest beverage of choice, Lining Cougars. Oktoberfest, of course, Maker's Mark. Why switch up a good thing? Of course, I went to the liquor store the other day. Went to get 4 mini bottles just for a little outage, and I found 4 mini bottles of Maker's Mark were more expensive than 4 mini bottles of Knob Creek. Now, Knob Creek is a little bit higher octane, a little bit higher grade. It'll mess you up. So if you have that same deal in your area, if you can get Knob Creek for less than Maker's Mark, then I suggest you do that. Maker's Mark is my standard because it's in my price range. But perhaps it's caught on through these videos and the demand is higher, so they're pricing it up. Either way, Knob Creek or Maker's Mark. If you're in a pinch, Jack Black is not a bad option. If that's the cheaper between the three and you're on a budget, Jack Black is solid. This Leaning Kugels. The reason why I like this, I do like Sam Adams Oktoberfest. This is Leaning Kugels Oktoberfest. This has less body, but just as much flavor. So these have been on sale at my local grocery store, so I've been getting those. If Sam Adams is cheaper, I'll go with the Sam Adams. But this is just a word to the wise for watching my videos. Leaning Kugels, I do not get, obviously I'm not sponsored by anybody, I'm just some dude. But I like to turn people on to good tips, you know, bargains here and there. So that is an awesome beer, especially if you can get it on sale. And behold, the finished product. So I measured these. This one was about 145 in the middle. This one was about 140. It's exactly where I wanted it. Perfect. These guys are resting. Of course, they're going to probably rest up to 150. I probably would have preferred them to be at 130 and resting up to 140. But that's the way it goes. These were experimental times. These were an inch and a half thick. If you have the same size steak, I found a little trouble finding the times exactly on the internet. So inch and a half thick. They were about 1.5 pounds each with the bone. Yeah, for a total of 3 pounds. And I did 2.5, 2.5 on one side. I probably could have gone to make these perfect, I could have gone 2, 2, 2, 2, which means 2 minutes turn, not flip. Turn on a 90-degree angle on the same side. So 4 minutes aside, and then flip for another 4 minutes aside. 8 total, so 2, turn, 2, same side, flip, 2, turn, 2, total of 8. And I didn't get great grill marks, but that's because the bone extrudes from the grill. I knew that was going to happen. Nevertheless, these may not be exactly perfect. Like I said, I went a little bit over. Next time I'm going to go 2, 2, 2, 2 and see what happens. Total of 8 minutes aside. But they still look like beauties. And it's time to go chow them down. Thanks for watching.